The game started and ended with Michael Keaton. Just letting you man know.
It's an objectively bad take.
Nah, it's probably... Who's the one who was with Bane? Christian Bale?
Christian Bale,
Yeah,
that
it's
was
probably the one.
also Tom Hardy.
Do we have time?
He's on the list of white men who I would love to look like. I've got a list.
Okay.
Across...
That's phenomenal.
explore the list.
I've got a black list, a white list, a mixed
we'll
list.
back the
I
list.
haven't quite got to Asia yet.
Don't let him forget this.
But
That's
yeah.
brilliant. White men that you'd love to look like.
Yeah, if I could look like white men, there's a few.
Yeah,
There's a few.
We'll explore this
That's
list.
fucking adorable.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
brilliant. I love that. I love that for
Love
you.
that for you.
I love that for you. It's so cute. Oh.
This
Good.
And
terribly
it's
episode 36. It's the longest siren we've had, Johnny. Thank you very much.
Trying to test my lung capacity.
oh, it's very good.
Let's jump right in. Shout out to all of our Spotify listeners.
Yes.
Our Apple Podcast listeners.
Yes.
Our
Everybody.
Amazon Music listeners.
Yes.
Our
Everybody.
SoundCloud listeners.
And most importantly,
our YouTube listeners.
nasty.
Thank you for listening.
This Could End Terribly, episode 36. You are here with man like Abiyade. That's me. That's me. Man like Johnny V.
Hello.
Babatunde.
Yes. Akim
Baba-
Johnny. We
Baba
settled.
Johnny.
Yes.
And without further ado, she thought she was Cameroonian until she did the same 23andMe
She did. She tried.
ancestry test. Formerly of Cameroonian
Yes.
Irish ilk.
Yes.
Actually Nigerian
Yes.
Irish ilk. So
By
we have
blood.
a full house.
Oluwa Grace.
Yes.
South London's very own Grace Kelly.
Welcome.
And look,
Ba-
you
ba.
must get this a lot, but it's actually pretty fucking sick that your name is Grace Kelly.
Yeah, my parents
Right.
did it on purpose.
Oh,
They thought it'd be banter, innit?
I mean, they weren't wrong.
great chat.
It's great chat, but
They
also
weren't
it's
wrong.
just like I turn up and I'm a 5'11" black woman, and people are like, "Oh,
Not the Grace Kelly we booked.
whoa, that's not what we had. We didn't think of that one."
But it's
Welcome.
a nice icebreaker, though, no?
It is. It's also. I just feel like you can't take yourself seriously if your parents call you Grace Kelly, and you look like me. You just can't.
Welcome to
You
being
can't.
called Johnny Vivas.
Yes. Yes.
And we are here in East London as ever, the home of grime, the home of This Could End Terribly. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Who wants to answer the question first?
Ladies
what are the
first.
vibes? How's everybody? How are things?
Things are good.
Yeah?
Actually, cannot all things considered, precipice of the apocalypse.
Happy International Women's Month.
Yeah.
Ba,
Is it,
ba,
what,
ba,
hold on.
ba,
Do
ba.
they get a whole month?
A whole
No, we
month.
just get a day. to
You just
be
get a
honest.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all right,
They
it's all
get a
right.
whole month.
Do they?
It's a whole month.
get a whole
It's a
month?
heritage month, but they get a day as well. But it's the
Remember,
whole month.
remember when my guy said there's nothing harder than being a straight white male?
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, no.
Thoughts and prayers.
Where's our month? Where's our month?
It's called all of modern civilization. There's
We
your
had
month.
White Boy Winter. We saw that happen in the capital. Let's not have any
Yeah,
more
we did.
seasons
Yeah,
dedicated
Yeah,
to
we've got
White
an
Boys.
additional season.
You've
this
had
year.
your moment.
We
Yeah.
deserved it.
So, Johnny, how's the first 2 weeks of being a Niger boy been?
It's
Welcome
yeah.
to my Johnny.
Yes.
I'm looking for my Johnny.
Yes, I'm here.
Where is my Johnny?
It has been tiring.
Okay.
I was driving my car. I was stopped by Fed.
Wow.
This is wow.
Yeah.
First thing he says.
I knew they had like some
Crazy.
sort of radar alert situation.
They did. Yeah. They pulled me over. They searched my license, opened the boot, the glove compartment.
Okay.
Obviously, everything was under the seat. They
Yep.
didn't check. I got away. But no, it's been fine.
Yeah.
It's been fine. Yeah. I've just been, I've been keeping me drinking my water,
Yeah.
going gym, getting dense, trying to meet local milfs in my area.
Any pounded yam?
Oh, frequently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Puff,
But-
puff?
Yeah. I mean, I was eating that before my
Okay.
genetic revelation.
Have you been asked to make chin chin in the kitchen yet?
We were actually recalled. We were recalled. Auntie heard, and she said,
Back in the kitchen.
she said, it's been a long time since prophets met this table. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm not gonna lie though. Slightly, I've been surrounded by COVID cases. I feel like there's a young
COVID,
wave.
is that still around?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it is.
So obviously, like we're in
was done.
denial. Thank God for Boris. We're in denial. The pandemic's over.
Yeah.
But I feel like bare people I know this week have come down with COVID. It's kind of bleak. So like I tested positive for being built different, but like thoughts and prayers with all the non-Nigerians going down with COVID around me. Good luck to you.
They don't have pepper stew. How they get through it?
Pepper soup.
You've evaded it, haven't you? The
No,
whole
I
time.
got it at Christmas. It nabbed me.
Shit.
Proper, literally 2 days before Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And
Haram.
it's just also just was quite interesting to see like where my cultural reactions to hardships sort of split down the
How
middle.
did you come across COVID?
Just drank all the booze in the house.
Yes. Was it Bailey's?
No, so it was.
He's coming out with all the stereotypes.
Yeah,
aren't he?
no. Do you know what it was?
It was
a
Baileys.
bit, there was a bit
So
Bailey's.
don't come for me in it.
There was some.
I mean-
there was some Moscow mules.
I can't say that anymore.
Yeah, it's contraband now, isn't it?
Cancelled.
I even feel
you
type of way
can't say
watching
it.
Killing Eve. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like that. I don't know, the Russian parody. Split spot on. Don't know about that one, babes. But yeah, no, proper just drank the whole way through it, and then realised that what I was actually probably suffering from was a hangover the entire time.
Yeah.
I could have recovered
Just
from
blur
it.
the lines, right?
Just why not?
You're both cancelled.
So,
Richard, how are you doing?
yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, it's been
nicely done. She's listened before.
been a tough couple of weeks, right? It's been, I mean, look, we've all been going through it, right? Anxiety when you turn on the news and all this other stuff. The invasion is very much still underway. And as I said on the last episode, that kind of affects me directly, professionally. I've got friends, but professionally as well. I'm kind of in the thick of it every day. So it's a bit it's a bit mentally draining. But shout out all my Ukrainians, right? Because they're still going through it. And that needs to be said. But other than that, my plank game, bro.
Oh,
My planking game.
where are you up to now?
3 minutes,
Oh, come on.
Talk me through your journey.
26 seconds on a plank.
Well, you couldn't make the 3:30, no.
I can make the 3:30.
Just fold it.
Proper Nigerian.
The problem with what
Proper.
the problem with what I'm doing is that if I go too fast, I'll end up on a night like this where I'm having a few rums and I'll have to beat it, right? In a less than sober state.
Okay.
So I try to only do like 1 or 2 seconds more than the day before.
Right.
But yeah, man, if you don't know what I'm talking about, at the start of the year, I decided I was going to do planks and push-ups every day this year.
What's the push-up level saying?
Push-ups, I'm at 116.
But what was your starting point?
I'm glad you asked, Grace Kelly. The starting point for the push-ups was a modest 33.
It's very modest. It's very modest.
Before I couldn't do any more.
Some would say embarrassing.
The plank was 46 seconds. And here we are.
Grow up, bro. 46 seconds.
I mean, I could
My
just.
personal best.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. How long's your plank?
I'm the cardio king, bro.
Bullshit. It's not about cardio.
Did you not hear my siren at the beginning of the
The
episode?
plank has got nothing to do with cardio and everything to do
It's
with core,
Habs
sir.
and cardio.
Bruv,
I've got
it's
both
not.
of them
I
in
don't do
abundance.
cardio, but anyway.
Yeah.
46 seconds on the 3rd of January, 2022, and here we are, second week of March, and I'm just shelling I shouldn't say shelling. I'm absolutely killing it at here. Oh God, I'm doing a 3.5 minute plank.
Sounds long, bro.
Hell,
Yeah.
I'm thermobaric bombing my workout regime.
Wow.
Wow.
I was trying to avoid that kind of. But anyway, I am good. Thanks for asking. Core is a mazza.
Well
My
done.
core
It's so bleak.
is
Well,
crazy. Anyway.
It's not a video podcast. You can stop pointing at it.
Yeah. Just like I can't lie. Like I've done so much
Please.
now. I just enjoy
Please move
touching myself.
Goodness.
I love that.
There you go. So Ukraine, let's dive right in. There isn't much to add in terms of what's been going on. It continues to be a very horrible situation that is evolving by the day. What we wanted to kind of talk about, and I wanted to get your view on this, Johnny, as well, given that we kind of went back and forth on this, but Grace obviously is gonna weigh in as well. The end game going into this invasion for Ukraine, for Putin rather, was we're gonna go in there and it's gonna be done in a matter of weeks. We're gonna take over the whole country. We're gonna have them succumb to all of our requests, and then we're gonna carry on our merry way, maybe towards other countries. 2 weeks in now, the resistance is still quite strong. Are we looking at a invasion that's potentially gone wrong? Or do you think that this is all part of the plan and he still has a few cards up his sleeve?
So I think he probably expected quicker progress. I think everyone underestimated the Ukrainian resolve and the ability to resist. By the types of troops that they sent in, like the same special service groups that were sent to quell protests in Kazakhstan and assist in Belarus. They didn't really send a proper army up front. They sent what was effectively like the paratrooper riot police gang called the SVS and a bunch of conscripts because they thought that would be enough to overwhelm the Ukrainians. And that seems to have been a tactical error. Is it a crusade gone wrong? No, it's not, because I think ultimately, as I said 4 episodes ago now, the end game will be that he ends up with the 2 independent regions semi-ceding from Ukraine and becoming autonomous.
Is that still on though?
I think so.
I think they had a conversation this week with Zelensky about the terms, and everyone was saying
we're not going to give up an inch. Yeah, sure, fine. Okay, so then what's the alternative? Like, you both just keep fighting ad infinitum.
But what about the people who say that due to what's happening with the sanctions in the economy in Russia and so on and so forth, it's actually going to cost them a great deal of money to stay in Ukraine? Isn't that a valid?
So it is entirely valid, and that's why they have been so quick to come to the negotiating table within the last week. So I think what surprised Putin was the strength and breadth of sanctions, and fair play to the EU and the West. Like, maybe he would have accounted for companies not being allowed to export stuff and businesses not being allowed to operate in Russia. But the concept of sanctioning a central bank is, like, the gravity of that is hard to explain to people who don't work in markets. That is an economy killer from the get-go. And what this entire process has sped up is the decline of a unipolar world. And so Russia is now tantamount moving towards vassal economic status towards China. And there's been a realignment of neutral parties in the Middle East towards what will become a rival and equal world order to the West and NATO. So in one sense, he sped up a strategic goal of removing Russia as a quasi-lone party to Western dominance, insofar as he's managed to unite Middle Eastern countries such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE, no longer taking Joe Biden's calls, to coalesce them around what is going to be an Eastern and Middle Eastern-led rival superpower status. But in terms of taking the whole of Ukraine, I think that's something that they'll quickly concede isn't possible. It's going to cost them something like 500,000 men a year in terms of troops on the ground, let alone like how many of those actually get killed. But in order to invade and hold and control a country that is now armed by the West, and ready and willing to shoot at Russian soldiers at will, it's not a price that needs to be paid.
The bit about armed with support from the West, a lot of people don't understand how you go from having a situation where NATO have said we can't back it to countries essentially helping Ukraine. How does that nuance work?
So NATO doesn't...
Are they sneaking guns in or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, they're basically sneaking guns in.
Right.
And foreign embassies, Ukrainian embassies in the West are leading procurement efforts for resources. So the Ukrainian embassy in this country, for example, is working on stuff like sorting out humanitarian aid and rations and basic non-combat goods, but also sourcing bulletproof vests and also sourcing tactical gear that can be sent back. And so in that sense, like, if the Ukrainian embassy buys shit off a private British manufacturer, like, we can pretend that that's not the UK lending support, but that's about as much as the UK government can really do. Russia has said repeatedly that if NATO is seen to send planes or capital, that would be seen as them getting involved and getting in the war. It's why we've seen a backtrack of this whole chat that we saw a couple of weeks ago about the EU sending planes, sending MiG fighters from Poland via the US
The UK,
to Germany or
the
whatever.
UK sent in Leon Dawson.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
My man was actually turfed, was told to bounce.
Yeah.
So
His heart was in the right place, though.
Just gives you the ick.
I would say so. I would say imagine like there's a war that like they're desperate for anyone to
And you
back
get turned
it.
away.
Yeah, you
On
can't.
the road, though, you want this guy in your corner, though. He looks hella intimidating.
So we need to have an erstwhile frank discussion on being dench does not mean you can fight.
No, but he's got that look in his
Absolutely.
eyes. He's got that look in his eyes as well.
Clearly not. They said
Just
no.
a little bit
They
mad.
said no. They looked into his eyes and they said, "Go
This
home."
Vacuous.
Yes.
Shell of a person.
Empty, chest lifting,
That's it.
soggy brother.
He's going to find Johnny on road, isn't it?
I don't care.
Do you know what I found really interesting about sort of like the European response? I mean, just that word, even European response. Like, apparently, they're going to ask UK households to take in Ukrainian refugees by the thousands. And I find that so interesting, just because of the political climate that we've had in the UK in the past couple of years. Brexit. Like, I used to be a teacher. I taught in Eltham, like stronghold of the BNP.
Yeah.
And them man were very, very vexed about Eastern Europeans, right? Like it was quite funny also because they couldn't tell who was Eastern European and who was a Cockney. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it was, I can't quite tell because we actually look the same. But
It's Paul Watt.
you know,
Sorry. Yeah.
exactly. But now it's just been fascinating to sort of watch that sort of the zeitgeist change
100%.
apparently in real time.
Sounds like you guys are sending shots at Pretty.
Oh, big time. That's your wife. You need to account for your woman.
She's Professor Umbridge.
Yes.
Absolutely. She ran the country. We'd all be wearing grey uniforms.
Yes.
Every day.
You need to account for your woman. But also, it's been funny to watch like The Spectator write numerous articles over the year, like why it's time to send the migrants back and why it's time to like shoot the ones that can actually swim and sink all the boats and don't fund the lifeguard. And now suddenly we're a hospitable, open island nation.
How many people are you taking in, bro?
Me, as bad as it is in Ukraine, I don't think they want to live in Tottenham.
Yeah, Crystal Palace is kind of nice still, but it's
Yeah.
got a sofa bed. Not
This seems like a you.
I can you shit on your own ends like that. Like.
Yeah, it is Tottenham. We need to be realistic
No,
about
it
what
is
we have in
Tottenham.
life.
It is Tottenham, to be
Our
fair.
portion.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't like imagine escaping the trauma
One
of
war zone
conflict
to
and then
another.
being
Yeah, it's
repatriated
peak.
to Tottenham. No,
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't.
actually quite peak.
I wouldn't do it to people.
Yeah, I hear that.
I wouldn't do it to people. Anyway, back to the point about the line between NATO helping and sending arms. There are ways that they can get involved, that they have got involved, by like pretending that all this like private funding of shipping tactical gear isn't them getting involved. But states won't get involved. Neither side wants a conflict. NATO's not going to go to war with Russia. Russia's not going to go to war with NATO. Ukraine has done a fucking fantastic job of holding up. There are various reasons which are boring and technical as to why they've outperformed. But that outperformance will basically see them guarantee the future for the majority of the country. I think that the compromise, as I said from the very get-go, is that they will maybe have to give up those eastern portions, talk some shit about NATO, but they'll end up joining the EU in the 80% of the country that they get to keep.
What about uprisings in those regions, though? Because short term, yes, they can hand over these regions to Russia, so to speak, but isn't it just a matter of time before there's uprisings in these particular regions?
Yeah, so those particular regions have always historically voted towards pro-Russian parties. They are Ukrainian. You can't just say that they're Russian because they're not Russians. They are Ukrainians who speak Russian, but they've always been more sympathetic to the aims of the Putin regime over the last 20,
but I would
30
imagine
years.
that's been stretched a bit in the last couple of weeks.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's also been
Absolutely.
very, very influenced. Although unfortunately, a lot of the people that kind of were there that didn't support Putin have probably left. They're now refugees trying to get on boats to come to this country and others, right? So it would be easy for Putin to make the case of go, well, look, why don't we just fucking poll everyone who stayed behind? And what a surprise, we've got a 75% majority, right? It's bleak. And I hate talking about other countries in these terms because it demeans their right to self-determination. But like, okay, what are you going to do? Can you hold a referendum in a war zone? Like, who's going to turn to a polling station when hospitals full of women and children are being bombed? Like, it's horrendous. But I think to answer the overall point, is it a miscalculation? I think Putin miscalculated the strength of the Ukrainian resolve. Was it a mistake? No, because he sped up a process that was going to take 10 years and it's happened in a month. What's more interesting is that I think we see this genuinely bipolar world now, in that since World War II, America has been able to dominate the rest of the planet economically, culturally, sociologically, and its instrument of practice was effectively NATO because that's what kept the Soviet Union at bay. now that the Middle East seem to have taken a side and picked this Russian/Chinese axis, we will see the advent of a planet where America, the West, and NATO is no longer the singular cultural force, and that will have economic repercussions that go on for years and years and years.
It's quite interesting because even the Imran Khan, Pakistani president, comes out and he was just like, I mean, he was asked to condemn Putin, and his response was just like, "What do you think we are, your slaves? We're just going to come out here." So it's just such strong postulating already from nations that have very good reason to be, you know, very anti-West, very like anti-colonial energy that we're getting here from Imran Khan. So it is interesting. We're seeing world allyship.
So, like, not to diminish the importance of Pakistan, because when man was growing up on Evering Road and it was India v Pakistan street cricket, man was playing off spinner for Pakistan.
Yeah, nice.
In the roads. But more importantly,
Just a fucking ethnic chameleon, this lad,
Do
isn't
you know
he?
what I
Just
mean?
like, he can't pick
Wow.
a side, can he,
Just
this
like,
lad? Like,
who
make your
are
fucking
you?
mind up, mate.
the
Who are
Bayou
you?
Tapestry
Honestly.
of world cultures.
Tapestry.
Global citizen, isn't it?
Yeah, come on. More importantly, unfortunately, countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE just aren't picking up the phone to Joe Biden. And like, that's a madness to consider.
Yeah.
Trump spent so much of his presidency getting the UAE to sign the Abraham Accords with Israel, trying to normalize and trying to like Westify these oil producing countries. Basically allowing MBS to murk off Jamal Khashoggi in Turkey and like proper not following that up. And within the space of a year and a half since the election, a year and a bit since the election, these guys have now gone, do you know what? Fuck it. Burn the West.
It's like
We're
a
backing
Drake
these
song,
guys.
isn't it?
Yeah, because China's now the marginal buyer of their resource, right?
Yeah.
America's the largest net gas exporter on the planet. They don't need to buy your shit anymore. That's why they're not in Afghanistan. So it makes sense for them. And we've seen that process rapidly speed up.
Do we want to talk about our fellow people not being able to flee Ukraine in the midst of it? That happened shortly after we recorded the last episode, so we weren't able to get into it.
Just gets me vexed.
Do we want to talk? Okay, cool.
Speak about it. Speak about it.
Untitled Chat.
And so I have put myself firmly in the chats. It's just like you're at war and you have time for racism. It's unbelievable. Wow, you can't say these people are multifaceted. It's just mad because, you know, on the one side they're building up they're building a wall in Poland to keep out the Syrian refugees, and you have these people. You know, one of my colleagues whose brother moved to Ukraine like 10 years ago and got Ukrainian nationality and was just like nabbed and conscripted, but his family get to the border and they can't get out, you know.
Right.
So it's just it's wild. But the news coverage, I have to say, this is where Irene Kelly's my mum.
Shout out,
So-
Auntie.
Shout out.
Auntie, I call her Irene Kelly when I'm quoting her greatness,
Okay.
because honestly, she is a force unto herself. And she was just, you were watching the news coverage. I think it was Prince William, you know, him. Prince
Yeah.
William, that
Yeah,
goat.
yeah.
He came out and he was like,
it was him. It was the whole "What color's the baby?"
It
yeah,
was
no,
definitely
100.
him.
Especially after
Thank
this
you.
comment when he said, he was like, we can quite imagine this in places like Africa, but we can't
Yeah.
imagine it in Ukraine.
Europe.
You know, in Europe. And my mum was just like, these people in 100 years, two world wars,
Has she turned
genocides,
Cameroonian?
you know? I'm telling you, she lost it. She's like, 2 world wars, genocides, dictatorship. These people love to fight. They're That is Irene Kelly's take on it. It's just
Amen.
like, for her, she's like, people ask her, also she's mad Christian in it, and like for her, it's just end of times anyway.
Yes.
And this is Jesus just ramping it up. He's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
So for her, she's like, she's ready. She's, you know, but at the same time, she's just like, Europeans just love to fight. They just can't. They don't have purpose.
It's the closest thing to
unless they're
culture.
fighting.
Like, genuinely, if you study the history of various continents, it's the closest thing to culture that Europeans have. Their greatest cultural contribution
Absolutely.
to the planet is
Beef.
beef. And they're fucking good at it. They're fucking exceptional. They
Yeah.
marched over the rest of the planet and murked every other country on Earth. But let's be straight about what they're good at. It's beef. You
Yeah,
spend it on
yeah.
beef, innit?
Yeah. I have a few questions as to why my fellow Nigerians were in Ukraine in the first place. So yeah, my opinion on this has been fairly unpopular, and I don't know why. I think if you understand what I'm trying to say, maybe you can get over just how mad it sounds. We work at a company where, you know, we had somebody who was in Kiev and got in contact with us because she was stranded. You know exactly what we're talking about.
Amen. Thank goodness she's home.
And even though we weren't able to extract her, you know, push comes to shove, we would have been able to, right? There have been many situations in which we've been able to extract people. So I put it on the embassies and the governments of some of the countries that know that they have their people in places like Ukraine to try and maybe do a little bit more to take care of their people when they are abroad. Because when people are like, Ukraine might be racist, I'm like, well, yeah. That's probably quite likely, because if you go to these countries and you know the history of some of these countries, like there's nothing that really indicates otherwise. So first things first, my Nigerian people. There's a lot of other westernized places that have people who look like us. Go and get your degree there. And if you're not going to get your degree there, all we've been reminded is something that we probably already knew when we entered those countries. And this was just, unfortunately, the worst possible time to be reminded of it. But beyond, maybe I'm jaded. Maybe I'm just sort of at a point now where nothing really surprises me and I'm desensitized to it all. But when people were like, they're stopping us from getting on, I was like, I'm not surprised at all. And then I started rationalizing it in crazy ways. I said to myself, if a war kicked off in Nigeria and stuff, and the first people who got on the planes and trains were like the white expats, it'd be fucking crazy. Nigerian people would be kicking off. Jamaican people, Indian people would be kicking off. Unfortunately, when it gets to situations like that, people just take care of their own. And that's unfortunate and it's horrible, but that was kind of like my view on it.
I think I understand. I think actually I hadn't considered that point about the embassies and stuff. I'm thinking about the Cameroonian embassy, but the Cameroonian embassy is useless.
Yo, by the way, Nigerian isn't going to be much better.
No. I think they win.
You've clearly never tried to email the Venezuelan embassy.
Oh no, like Americans. That's a different
we're lazy.
Time. That's a different time.
Yeah, we're lazy.
Mañana. But literally, like in the summer, my mum was trying to get a visa to go back to Cameroon. There was a death in the family, and we called the embassy at 9 a.m. We were like, do we, it's not entirely clear from the website if we need a COVID test. And they were like, just go and see. That was it. Yeah, just, you'll see. We were like, wow. So incompetence is one thing. And also, I hadn't considered that's totally right. But I think there's something about a lot of the people that this is something else that's interesting about this conflict is we're living in the time of TikTok, Instagram, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. My niece has TikTok and is constantly sending me videos.
Yo, shout out the Ukrainian TikTok girl, by the way, who did the day in the life. Did you see that video?
Wow.
Yeah, that was mad.
Oh my
also,
God.
the other one that showed you how to rob a tank.
Oh, no.
You not seen that one?
The one I saw was this, I think it's like this woman throws a jar of pickles at a missile coming in or some shit and just like it goes...
Jar of pickles.
That's gang shit.
You know, and people are just like, how is Russia winning this?
Yeah,
can you imagine invading that country? How dumb do you have to be where Babushka's willing to dash the pickle them?
I'm telling you,
at the rocket.
Eastern Europeans are hardy,
they're built
They're
different.
MacGyver guys.
Yeah.
Like, you can't play games.
100%. But you were saying...
MacGyvers. No, but I think that it's something about, a lot of the... From what I've seen anyway, a lot of the people that are there are students or engineers. They're skilled workers.
Yeah.
And there are people that are there that have been recruited to be there, right? And I think, they're contributing to your society.
Yep.
They're living there. They have the right to safety as well.
100%.
And I think it's not like first come, first serve, isn't it? Like if you get to the border, you get to the border, let people through. The idea that people are sat there for a couple of days or having to walk, 20 kilometers in the snow is wild.
Yeah, you hear stories about like pets getting on before black people were getting on and stuff. And look, again, two things I'm certainly not saying is that I excuse the behavior, and I'm certainly not saying that Ukrainians are racist. I know there are Ukrainians who are people of the world and just are cool as fuck. But I do think Eastern Europe as a whole, like I've had plenty of experiences, and many of us have who have been there. It's not necessarily a progressive region yet, right? And I think unfortunately that manifests itself in really, really ugly ways. So I got loads of stories, even from like business travel. So I'm not excusing it, but I guess my initial reaction was just, first of all, why are we there? Number one, because I just try to avoid places where I'm not loved, appreciated, or safe.
That's just the most Nigerian thing you've done.
Yeah, and then second of all, like
about me.
Second of all, like the extraction sometimes where we are in environments where we are not safe. The higher the governments have to do more by their people.
Absolutely.
And as ever, right, it was a reactive response to what was going on, which is a shame because, as I say, going back to the initial point, whenever we have problems with people abroad, like I had a couple of people in my team who got caught in the Kazakhstan protests at the start of the year. We did our job as a private company, and if a private company can do that, then our government can do that.
Yeah.
When Young Thug is out
know
here
what I mean?
sending out a couple of thousands,
You feel me? Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Like,
true. It's true.
But yeah.
I will say,
Oh,
before we move on,
okay.
that you made the point, Grace,
One last thing.
about this war being a social media and TikTok-led conflict. I saw a headline today that Russia is planning to ban Instagram
All of it, bruv.
from the country.
All of it, bruv.
Just like I logged into LinkedIn the other day and I saw a recruiter, a Ukrainian recruiter based in Kiev, posting a picture of himself like holding a Kalashnikov.
Yeah.
And just being like,
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
about-
we're strong-willed people, come and
Yeah.
get a job here. And I was like, what fever dream I'm living in
Yes.
right now. You know, and also I couldn't help but like, you know, the post-colonial analysis comes in. Sorry, I've read too much critical race theory. I'm sorry. But it comes in, I'm just like, can you imagine anybody else doing that in a conflict?
Yeah.
You know, but would that not be taken down? But it's fascinating to just, you know, just the jingles over it, the filters and whatever, and it's people are dying. It's yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, like I was basically, I didn't really give a shit about this war until I saw that headline. But if
Glad you finished that sentence.
if Putin is planning on reducing my access to Russian thought content,
100%.
this conflict needs to stop.
It really does.
Absolutely.
It's time to negotiate.
It really does.
Yeah.
And if Ukraine needs to give half their country
Yeah.
for me to see Irina
Yeah.
shaking,
Yep.
it has to go.
The thought content goes
Yeah.
both ways. Also, there are a lot of
100.
Russian men like chopping down trees and shit. And
yeah?
that's very sad.
You like the lumberjacks.
Look,
You
I think
know, I think sometimes we get primal, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, we like to
It's
seek
natural.
versions of strength.
100%. We
you
are
know?
primal. The amount of Ukrainian women who I follow who have found time in the midst of this all to do very sexually provocative messages
To look fine.
superimposed on Zelensky when he
Yes.
speaks, saying
Women
my
can
crush or
multitask.
I would. Or I'm like, whoa. We really are just animals.
As has been
aren't we?
said,
We're just down.
I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chat about this Zelensky fella. I fear that he's setting unreasonable standards for Jewish men, and
Bro, like
he's a threat. He's become a threat.
RT.
He's become a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I'm Sephardi. It's not my problem. But I like thoughts and
You're
prayers. Thoughts and prayers
Ashkenazi
with,
as well.
And
with the Ashkenazi men.
prayers.
You're Ashkenazi as well. We established that.
2%.
I 1% over here.
Come on.
Oh,
How
wow.
about that? Yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah.
That's your king. That's our king.
Do I really need to do this 23andMe thing?
I
think you're gonna have to.
It's bants because my brothers and my sister, we have different dads. But
Yeah.
my brother got like 1% finish. He was like,
I know.
where to finish at?
RT. If Richard turns out with even 0.1% Jewish,
That's it.
bro.
it will explain so much.
Wait, what? What will it explain?
The shortest
Like
arms in the
kosher
city.
salt.
Fam, I've got Michael Phelps range. What are you talking about?
The
Put me in a
pockets are
fucking
always
boxing
longer than
ring.
the reach.
Bro, shut up. So, on the topic of sanctions, the sanctions which crippled Russia somewhat, some unsurprising, some very surprising.
Yes.
We had the second wave of sanctions this week.
Yes.
What I call the oligarch wave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think there's one super famous oligarch that we all know, and he wasn't able to avoid the beef.
That's pretty peak for him, you know.
This is anti-Semitism I can approve of.
Do you support a team? If you had to?
If I support anyone, because you know South London, Crystal Palace, innit?
Don't know. All right, cool.
Been a
So,
couple of times. Went to Dulwich Hamlet once, but that was dry. It's
Yeah,
too
big
middle
up-
class
big
for
up
me.
Dulwich Hamlet.
I
it's become something
I
else.
need
Dulwich
some
Hamlet, to be
skinheads
fair.
around.
Yeah,
Like, it's
100%.
not-
Otherwise, it's not really an experience.
What is that? The
Yeah.
chance of
I'm going
shit.
to watch the rugby. At times comes out. I'd have been to England v Ireland at Twickenham, genuinely considering taking a camera and asking all the jeans and brown shoed men what they think about taxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Let
like,
us know
it's
how
like
that
going
goes.
to Tory Party
That'd be
convention.
great.
Yeah,
But the famous oligarch, Roman Abramovich, owner of Chelsea Football Club,
Minor spice, you know.
yes,
has been sanctioned.
another high functioning Jewish man.
He tried to front run it, right?
Chaim.
He tried to transfer ownership of the club to a charity or the charity foundation, which was very cheeky.
Yes,
That was very cheeky
Just
initially.
so transparent.
Yeah. He wasn't even trying to be subtle, right?
Not even.
He then says he's going to sell, and then he's going to give all of the profits to Ukraine.
Yeah. No, he never said that.
He did.
No. What he said, and it was very well worded, because a lot of people have been caught out. He said he would give the proceeds to the victims of war. The word Ukraine was never mentioned.
Oh, okay.
My man was looking to fund the families of the dead invaders.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
But that was all in vain, nevertheless. And if anybody says anything wrong, I need to be clear. If anybody in this particular segment says anything wrong about Russian oligarchs, I want you to know this is Johnny Vivas speaking.
What have I done?
Yeah, he's got a weird voice, so sometimes it changes to a bit deeper. Sometimes it sounds feminine, but it's Johnny, right? This isn't Richard or Grace saying anything negative about Russians or Russian oligarchs. I don't want wahala.
I'm going to let you
In
land.
Jesus' name.
No pasa pasa.
But the future of European Champions League winners, Chelsea,
Yes.
is in peril.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he,
God is
amongst
good, though.
other things, is
God is
no-
good when?
all the time.
All the time.
Black people's Marco Polo.
Facts. He is no longer allowed to sell the club, or that sale is now on hold.
So juicy.
And there are a
Amen.
bunch of other equally hilarious things that Chelsea are no longer allowed to do, such as renew contracts of
Yeah.
players,
Hey.
buy or sell players.
Hey.
Not allowed to sell any more tickets.
Hey.
If you
So
if you
big.
have tickets, season tickets or tickets for a couple of games ahead, you can come and you can still get a hot dog and a beer. But that's it, son, because
Yes.
you can't go into the old merchandise gift shop and buy a Chelsea shirt. No.
There's no away fans to bottle either.
No bueno. And the funniest one relates to their away days.
Yes.
They have been told they have a maximum, and correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny, a maximum away day spend of 20 G's, whether they are playing in or out
Does that
of the
even cover
country.
coach?
Yes, so to put that into perspective, listeners, by the time you're listening to this, I think, when's their game? Tuesday or Wednesday?
I don't care.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Tuesday or Wednesday. So roughly around the time you're listening to this, Chelsea will be on their way to Lille in France.
No.
But will they? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
But will they?
Okay.
Because Chelsea's corporate credit card is now no longer able for use of transactions. The Athletic reported today that they are actually unable to buy petrol for the team bus.
Mazza.
The irony that Roman Abramovich's football club can't even find 2 liter for the bus
That shit's expensive.
to
though.
the airport.
Yeah, on the way here, you know, my Uber driver was just lamentations. Lamentation. Can I just say though, considering how the threat of the Super League mobilized people, right? Mobilized people politically. I thought to myself, do you know what? Yeah, this might be the thing that ends it all. Like, this might be the thing that ends it all. Football players coming out like, no, you can't mess with the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
Putin, you got to stop this.
Yeah.
This might be it.
Yeah. And it's bloody hilarious for anybody who isn't a Chelsea fan. And the thing is, it couldn't have happened
Proper jokes.
to a nicer set of fans.
Amen.
We're talking about the same fans.
Are you being sarcastic?
Who, yes. We're talking about the same fans who push my man off the train
Yes, say it.
on an away day in Paris.
Say it.
That was them.
We're talking about the same fans who just last week, when there was a clap in solidarity for the Ukrainian people, was sat there singing Roman Abramovich songs. Is there anything else that I've missed from Chelsea's
yeah.
illustrious history?
The same people that used to come down to the old White Hart Lane and make hissing noises to recreate the gas chamber playing down White Hart Lane.
Wow.
Haram. These people are haram. The most haram people. And like tutus, I've had this conversation with bare black cab drivers, yeah? But like, if you grow up in North London, like Tottenham and Arsenal fucking hate each other, right? They do. But there's a chance that at least 50% of your mates support the other side. So you have friends who are genuine Arsenal or Tottenham fans, right? Then you've got a couple West Ham fans. It's not their fault. Their dad forced them into it. They're all right, ultimately, right? They're not a serious club. They're not serious people. You can just take them happy-go-lucky. Do you actually know a decent Chelsea fan?
No.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I know one. At least, no, I know two.
Do you?
RT, I know two. Shout out Charlie, shout out Darren, yeah. I like them.
Can we just focus that their names are Charlie and Darren
Yeah,
as symptomatic?
yeah, they're pretty white names. Charlie, to be fair, is far from white, but he's got a pretty white name. Charlie Allen. Shout out Darren Hayes.
I lie. One of my colleagues, he's really nice. Actually, he's a Chelsea fan.
Who?
But he's not English, so it doesn't count.
Who that?
I don't think.
I actually know.
Fede.
Fede.
He's
it
lovely.
literally doesn't get nicer than Fede.
Yeah, he's lovely.
He's Brazilian, so he probably supports like Palmeiras or some shit
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, you know.
I will say,
he's just there for the. I think he just likes the fact that it's a blue.
It's blue top.
You know, it's a blue top.
Maybe he's a Cruzeiro
He's
fan.
a very aesthetic guy. Anyway, sorry.
I actually
Digression.
know maybe the only 2 black Chelsea fans in the world. One of them was at my birthday. Man, like MK.
Ah,
Yeah.
How did that happen?
You'd have to ask him. We can get him on the pod.
Probably Drogba, right?
Maybe. No. From long time. From long time before. He's Nigerian as well.
So,
like,
Michael Dubry then.
Maybe. Maybe that's what it was.
Interesting.
But they're scum. Like Chelsea fans are scum. They've been
Yeah.
filth. They're the white fan club. They have been from day. They're filth. There's bare videos of them on European away days smashing up calves, trying to start on guys who
Chelsea
like, run on bars.
ultras, hooligans, and the like. This again is Johnny Vivas
Come outside.
talking.
Come outside.
Yes, even with the
You
African
can
accent.
come
don't be
outside, but
deceived.
just not outside my house, please.
Come to do you know? Actually, no, that actually. Do you know if you could do like fantasy Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And you got like the Chelsea ultras against Broadwater Farm lot.
Yeah.
I reckon that's an all-star. I would subscribe to DAZN to watch a 10 on 10.
So the funny thing about this whole thing was the line in the article that I read, which said he's been sanctioned by the UK government as part of its response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
What a shame.
The government believes the billionaire has had close relationships for decades with Russia's president, Vladimir
belief, it's
Putin.
fact.
Links Abramovich has always
Everyone
denied.
I wasn't allowed to do top 10 books of the year, but number 2 would have been Catherine Belton's Putin's People,
You see what I mean? To be fair,
and everyone should read that book.
Grace is probably the one guest that, of all our guests who would probably enjoy like a top 10 book of the year.
I have the
I
list.
would,
I'll
I
send
would.
it to you. I got
Yeah.
it. I wrote it down. He wouldn't let me say it.
We'll make it happen. Maybe never.
I think we
What do you
should
think?
comment
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Uprising. Oligarchs have been given. I was a bit annoyed that they didn't get. Well, I can't say annoyed. I was surprised that they didn't get sanctioned straight away. Is there anything in the fact that they were given 2 weeks to get their shit together?
Yeah, obviously there's something.
Absolutely.
Just
Cool.
take the
Just
money
so I'm
out.
not going crazy.
Who's the brother that Boris interfered with him getting like a period?
Lebedev.
That's it.
Yeah. And his old man's literally a KGB agent.
Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
just like, if these men can get out and house prices can sort themselves out for a little bit, please.
So that's
get
what I was
them
saying.
out of here.
So that's what I was
because
saying.
the people that should be going to SW1 and that are now coming to Peckham, and I can't live where I grew up. So please get them out. Get them out of here,
I'm you.
please. I've had enough.
Yeah, no, but that's some real shit. Like, and
They
this is
they should turn all them big houses. Like Abramovich owns like the gaff behind Kensington Palace.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
Boom. That's your Ukrainian refugee shelter right there.
that
Put
would
all of
be
them in
lovely.
there.
What
now.
poetic
100 man.
justice.
You get 100 man
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there. Done.
Yeah.
Tents in the garden. Everything.
Don't need to come Tottenham.
No. Much safer.
Pretty, are you
You need
listening?
to chat to your girl, bro.
Yeah, I do.
Why is she your girl, please?
Oh. How long have we got?
Is it the bunda?
It's not really.
It's the whole body.
No, it's not really.
It is.
No,
Is
it's
it
not
a
the
little
whole
bit?
body.
Is it a bit about like the attraction to an evil woman? 'Cause I
No,
kind
it's
of
not
get-
even that. I just think objectively, she's just nice on the eyes a little bit.
No, she's paying. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
like,
I'm not
that's
gonna
it.
lie. She's also that really
haram.
sneaky smile. If she was a force for good, I'd be like chaotic good.
You know what I
Do
mean?
This is haram.
But
shit.
the fact she's
she
evil,
is
yeah.
very evil.
It's tough for me. It's tough for me. Trust me.
Skepta just randomly posting her picture.
Yeah.
I
No
love-
comments.
I love
Just-
Skepta,
just-
but that really knocked him down a peg
this
or
is
two
like
for me.
this is like Jewish people falling in love with Eva Brown.
Yeah.
Definitely not allowed.
I mean, yeah, no, Pretty hates us, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I back and support Grace. I mean, Johnny's view that the Russians need to leave so that we can get our house prices back to a
When did I-
kosher level.
when did I say that?
Everything in this section has been you.
Yeah.
We've already,
I don't
we've
think I
already
was-
said. We've already said.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe the oligarchs can leave.
But literally, no one is safe. So if you enjoy restaurants such as Bob Ricard, Hyde,
See,
that
we've
sick
got,
one in
you better go. You
Soho?
better go there and
Novikov.
press. You better go in there.
No.
Novikov. You better go to Bob Ricard and hit the old push here for champagne one last time because you might not be able to do that for much longer, my friend.
This is what I'm talking about. The restriction of thought content
Yeah.
on Instagram, and it needs to stop. World peace needs thought content
Absolutely.
immediately.
Yeah.
I think also, I mean, I think sex and violence all sort of goes hand in hand. Maybe
Amen.
that's a bit, you know what I mean? So there's there's something about that there's all this thought content that's coming out whilst we're all at war. It's just that sort of thing, like as a plane's crashing, do you just bang the person next to you?
Yeah.
Sort of. Have you seen that?
No,
You
I
probably would.
yeah.
I think you probably would.
I mean,
Think about it
you know,
all the
we're
time.
going down, might as well.
Think about it all the time.
it's the Shane Warne way to go out.
Shane Warne, what?
So,
That.
I mean, we could go straight into that actually.
That was the idea. Segway king.
You know when things happen in the news and you think this could be a fictional story,
Yeah.
but then having lived in Bangkok,
Yeah.
very crazy things happen in that
Yes.
place. Very
Yeah.
crazy things happen in Thailand.
It's called Bangkok for a reason.
But can I make a point that I would like to just make this like PSA, you know, about Thai society? It's the Farang, it's the Europeans there that are the
Always
wrong
the
ones.
farang.
Yeah, of
Always
course.
the farang.
Let's just make that clear. I just feel
course.
like the kind of people like Bangkok, I think every city attracts a certain kind of person. And Bangkok is the kind of place where there are a lot of people who are trying to run away from something, run away from themselves, whatever it is, not to get too deep or
Families,
whatever.
wives.
Whatever it
Yeah.
is. And then they get there, and especially like the men, you have these like 4, 5, 6s in this place where, you know, their wallet makes them a 10. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Boras people I saw,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Boras, Boras.
Boras.
Boras. Like, have you seen Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes.
You know, the guy with
No,
the
don't
hands.
do it.
Yeah, there was a man that, swear to
Oh,
God,
that's
looked like him. Swear to
bleak.
God, was him. And he
Wow.
had this, like, I was there like, sis, get your game in it. But here's something, though. Thai government, if you marry a Thai woman, 51% of everything you have belongs to her
Immediately.
immediately.
Oh man, we got segues coming out of our
Yeah,
ass
yeah.
this episode because we're going to go into the divorces in a
Nah,
bit.
it's
Yes.
sick. Do you know
Oh.
what? Because when I was there, again, it's something you can't understand until you live in a society. But they actually do so much to safeguard their women, but also their sovereignty, their wealth. Right?
Yes.
So like, there was this guy that I worked with. He was this Irish guy who came there with his classic story. He came with his European girlfriend. His real estate showed him the flat. Cheated on his girlfriend with this type peng. I mean, like, wow,
Goddess.
wow.
Delicious.
Wow, God made you people differently, honestly. Like, wow, beautiful. You know, I just wanted to stare at her. She was so beautiful. I did just stare at her, to be honest. Anyway, so he got with her. 3 months later, she falls pregnant. Her family descend.
Secure the bag.
They descend from Chiang Mai,
Yes.
move into the house. In half terms, she'd be off to Japan, Korea, Finland. He'd be at home with the kids. The mum and aunt would move in to take care of the kids.
That's
Not
the queen
what
of
you-
work.
not
That's
what
the
you
queen
thought it
of
Do you
was.
know what I
it
mean?
was.
And I was sat there like, you know what? Yeah, reparations. For you.
We'll find, but on the Irish, you can't claim reparations on the Irish.
Nah,
if he was like from Lancashire, you'd be like, yeah,
my
fair game.
people need a bit of discipline too, you know.
I've only been to Bangkok once and Phuket once.
Oh,
And
Phuket is maybe the
point-
worst place
Yeah,
on
to
No,
your
Phuket
point,
is trash.
Yeah, it
Phuket
was
get in the bin.
so unsettling.
And we were having
like-
this chat before
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful countries on earth.
Yeah,
Some of
loved
the
it.
nicest people on earth. Phuket attracts the worst of
Bro,
wrongins of Western
I was
society.
rattled. I went probably like 11 years ago, so it was my first proper exposure to it. Seeing these grown-ass men with young girls who literally didn't even look. I mean, you can be 18 or you can be older and look younger.
Yeah, yeah.
But these girls genuinely looked.
Pubescent. Yeah.
it's
like,
horrendous.
and it was just it was
Horrendous.
horrible. But if you wondering why we're talking about Thailand so intensely,
Yes.
it's because Shane Warne, who, if you don't know him, is a legendary Australian cricketer,
The greatest.
who many regard as being one of the greatest of all time,
The
if
greatest.
not the greatest.
Bowl and shine.
I'm on the side of everything black, so I'm just going to throw Brian Lara out there, even if I don't know if that's actually right or
Shake your
not. I don't know.
butt like
I
Lara, you
might
know.
not know. I don't know. That might not be true, but I don't watch cricket. But he's black, so
Yeah,
there you go.
cricket's dry, not gonna
Yeah. So
Highest test score in history.
he died.
still.
He died unexpectedly at 51.
52, yeah,
51,
52.
52 years
And,
old.
and we're saying it's a heart attack, right? Nothing dodgy.
Big hearty. Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
very good question, Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the official
Yeah.
death or cause of death, rather.
Yes.
And not many people have reason to believe that wasn't the truth until the dreaded WhatsApp chat content started doing the rounds.
Let's go, baby.
Now, you won't be able to find any articles that lead to this on the internet. In fact, I tried before you guys got here. There have been links that have been created by news outlets that have been cut off, injunctioned. But you can't stop the rumor mill on WhatsApp.
Cannot.
It's a different place altogether. So imagine my face when...
There's a whole Reddit to this now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, everything lives on Reddit. Basically, long story short, there was a video, a series of pictures.
Yes, that I sent you.
You sent me. Actually, I initially got a picture, but then Johnny sent me the rest.
So when when we said earlier that like Europeans are good at war, like white culture is snuff videos. We're good at snuff videos and filth content.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys do that very, very well. And the video involved Shane Warne. Shane Warne is who? The guy who won Pop Idol or some shit, right?
Yeah, because you know what? Yeah, I forgot. I'm not gonna lie.
Shave
I was like looking up the story, and I typed in Shane Warne, and I was like, nah, it's not this guy. Cricket? Nah, I got confused real quick because he's also bald as well, so there's a lot going on.
Exactly. The videos is essentially Shane Warne in his final hours having a massive orgy with a few women. Now I don't know what. Four or was it three? Four other
What
women.
a way to go out, honestly.
And
frankly,
Ideal.
And look, man, I don't really have much on this. I just want to say, look, as you say, there aren't many better ways to go. Was he married?
no,
He
Wasn't married.
he was divorced.
Even better.
Just to put into context, he was fucking Liz Hurley for a minute.
Yeah.
And for a king less than 6 foot to fucking put Liz Hurley over, that's sauce. You need
Liz Hurley
sauce
is
for that.
He sent a message to his
OG
daughter today, used to
baddie,
be
yo.
like, your daddy was a cute guy.
Oh, yeah?
R.I.P.
She's very fine. It's maybe the reason that Austin Powers is the greatest movie franchise in cinema history. But more importantly, there are stories. There are stories.
Your whitest take ever.
Yeah, wow.
Well, Liz Hurley's in it, so grow up and deal with it.
Did he say 8%? I don't know.
There are stories of when Shane Warne was playing at Hampshire. He was playing cricket at Hampshire, and for some reason he was staying at a hotel in Accrington. Who
What
are
is
they?
that?
Exactly. To cut a very long story short, I think he basically put every single good-looking woman in Accrington over the hotel counter. And there's a particularly famous story of a woman who sold her story to the papers, and for the price of an injunction, got a washing machine.
Ah.
So not only did she get to blow Shane Warne, she got her laundry done.
Done
Well
now.
done.
Shane Warne is a man of the people.
And he's getting a state funeral. So again,
correct.
if you need any indication of how much of a big cheese this guy was, how much of a legend he was, there you have it. A life well lived.
You know, it's interesting because I have to admit I didn't know he wasn't very much my periphery at all. I knew of him as like this kind of urban legend, sort of like
Very tanned.
an idol for the lads,
Yes.
sort of thing.
Iconic. Peak male athletic performance body.
I don't know about that because also I don't know. So a comment from his
leading test
manager.
wicket taker of all time.
I don't know, but he was like on like a 30-day juice cleanse before, and his manager was like, it was ridiculous and stupid. Like,
But you need
the guy's-
serious sauce to perform with that kind of body.
I mean, but it's interesting because it's just like people sort of trying to trash him in his death, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, to my knowledge, didn't commit any crimes.
No, absolutely
harm
not.
anyone.
No, he was a good
I
bloke.
don't think he did.
He was just a bit.
He was like a.
He's a bit of a wide boy.
Yeah,
Isn't
he was a Diego Maradona, George Best type, right? He was just a rock and roll like personality of his sport.
He likes a Super King and an IPA, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Bit of Diet Coke as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
A king among men.
Rest in peace to Shane Warne.
May we all go out as 4-person orgy.
Yeah, as we transition from somebody who made a great deal of money and had a great deal of success by being the elite player in a very narrow field, we move over to Calabasas, Los Angeles, where Kim Kardashian has taken a page out of the Molly May doctrine
Yes.
and said, I have advice for you bitches. Fucking work.
Yes.
Nobody seems to want to work anymore.
Yes.
I actually loathe that woman.
I feel like Molly May really wore a lot of heat.
So first, all right, carry on.
I feel like Molly May really wore a lot of heat.
What heat?
Well, people.
Like, what heat?
No,
People-
Pray do tell.
Yeah,
please
people. Yeah,
divulge.
I will. People said that Molly May was, fortunate. We had the distinguished Her Majesty the Mayor of Camden on the podcast.
Shout out Sab.
Shout out Sab. Say that, Molly May needs to learn the difference between being busy and hard work. What was the phrase? Working hard.
100%.
Yeah,
Working hard and being busy.
that was the one. People said that Molly May was a B-Tech influencer.
Yeah, I don't agree with that bit.
Clearly, her culture.
What, is she?
No, I mean, as in, like, let's not cuss out VTEX in it, but I just,
I hear you
I
on
used to be an
that. I hear you on
educator
that.
in it.
No, I
I'm
hear you on
like,
that
I'm
one.
just,
I hear you on that
I
one.
know
I
you
hear you on
know.
that one still.
Got him.
I hear- Hey,
Can't be so loose with your fucking.
Listen.
Anyway,
Mr. My name's Imperial University, and I've got a degree from Rich Abiadi.
Say it again.
Yeah. Olga.
People condemned Molly for being a average influencer, yet her culture has extended transatlantic
yep.
to maybe the highest echelons.
There you go.
What's her culture, please?
Grow up and work harder.
Okay, so let's circle
I feel
back
like this
here.
is. I feel like this is her segment.
Let her
I
land.
mean-
Let her land. Let her land.
My problem with I think Molly May you could I think the difference between busy and being productive or whatever is very spot on.
Being busy,
but
working
also
hard.
it's like Molly May has a team of people. She doesn't have 24 hours. She has 24 hours of a team of people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's that, yes, does that mean that you're working hard? Absolutely. There is no way you can say she's not working hard.
I can say she's not working hard.
I mean,
I'm going to say she's not working hard.
I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt here,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not,
but
but land.
in a time when people are working multiple jobs, like we're seeing petrol prices go up by the minute, just the
Tax
cost
rise coming, baby.
You know what I mean? The Vines boot. I don't know if you guys follow Jack Monroe.
Yes.
The Vines boot index,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Increase of just like staple price and whatever. At this point, to come out and tell people, especially Kim Kardashian, that's Jezebel. That harlot. I would say
You just call her a harlot?
I called her a harlot. And I'll tell you why I call her a harlot. I'll tell you why.
And even the Jezebel is the Dizzy Rascal
You know-
segue.
And
Wow,
it's
we
not
are
even-
on
I-
fire tonight.
Segueing.
I've had to put my drink down for this. It's not even it's not even the sex tape and whatever. For me, it's just that you know what? I'm not shaming a woman about that at all. For me, it's more so what the Kardashian family represent. They are a group of succubus that have literally
Of
just
what, sorry?
they're
Succubus.
like female, like demonic energy. Swear
Okay.
to God. Like,
Okay.
what? I will not forgive them for what they've done to Kanye. Anyway, but on a serious note, I just think that I remember distinctly, newspapers and magazines like cussing out Beyonce's body until Kim Kardashian appropriated it.
Yeah.
And then it became fashionable.
Serena.
And so for me, I can't
Sleep on
help
it.
as a black woman looking at her and the influence that she's had on society. I've had a woman at work ask me where I got my lip fillers.
Are you fucking joking me?
I said I grew it in the womb.
Did
They
you
have
slap
been
her?
here.
You should have
No,
slapped her.
I said I grew it in the womb.
I feel like violence. I feel like
I said I grew it
violence
in the womb.
is
Where did you get your own?
You know what I mean? I said no, but to the point where like they have had such a detrimental impact, I think, on society in so
Amen.
many ways. To the point where I'm having white women asking me if my natural features are synthetic.
That's mad, you know.
right.
I'm one of the people who doesn't really hate Kim, but when you put it like that, that is absolutely fucking crazy.
Right, and now she's getting rid of her, her bum cheeks and whatever.
Yeah.
Watch, I'm already seeing, low-rise jeans can make a comeback, which is like, please let us thick waist ladies enjoy our high waist jeans, please. It was a great time for us, and then once that goes, what's going to happen? That thick figure thing is going to come back again, right? And it's just like that. So for me, I just find them such a toxic group of people. Take away my very misogynist comments about her being a harlot, but still a harlot of the black experience.
Very good.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
But wow, how tone deaf, man.
Yeah.
When Meghan McCain is writing an article in the Daily Mail, Meghan McCain is cussing you out in the Daily Mail.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Wow.
That's rock bottom.
Yeah,
That's really wrong.
and we had somebody. There was somebody who came out and tweeted a Jessica Defino who said I was an editor.
Yes.
On the Kardashian.
Yes.
Thank you.
In 2015 in LA, worked days, nights, and weekends. Could only afford groceries from the 99 cents only store. I called in sick more than once because I couldn't put gas in my car to get to the office and was reprimanded for freelancing on the side.
Gas was cheap then as
And
well.
Courtney, how many times she said on the show that she's not one for work?
Yes.
You know, I also did not come to this life for labor, but at the same time, you know, they're constantly cussing her out for being feckless on the show, apparently.
Yeah.
And then apparently she was there with Kim going, yeah, no, people don't want to work hard anymore.
Yeah.
It's bleak.
Yeah.
It's bleak. It's bleak. I don't know. There's
There's not much to say.
there's not much to say.
There's
Just
not much to say.
Shut the fuck up.
We
But,
covered it.
She actually managed. Do you know what? Tutu. She managed to come out of the whole divorce thing, smelling of roses.
Yeah, I mean, because Kanye was moving
just
mad.
moving so mad.
Yeah.
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 So mad. She'd
Bless
like
him.
in the most fucked way managed to like deracialize herself by fucking a white guy, and like now she can go mainstream. She's not fucking
Yeah,
Kanye anymore, right?
exactly.
And she still managed to drop the bag.
Yeah, and to
She's
Grace's
still
point, that's why all the injections are coming out. That's why them
Exactly.
as a family are moving towards the rockers and the Pete Davidsons and the
you see
Machine
it
Gun
happen.
Kellys, all
There
that
you
stuff.
go.
Miley
You can
Cyrus
see it.
went from twerking to
Yeah,
now
yeah,
she's like
yeah.
a proper hillbilly.
Well, that's fine.
again.
Look, because we've used black culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we're rich.
Yeah,
And we will just tell people to work harder for us.
exactly.
Very good.
Exactly.
Very good.
This narrative, it's not accidental, is it?
No, but this is by design. This is how
this is-
capitalism
this is-
works.
yeah, they're all-
capitalism works by
they're-
getting other people to work harder
They're all
for
in
you.
it. Yeah, they're all in it together, and this is it's harmful. To Grace's point, this is a time when people are working harder than ever. People are hustling 3 or 4 different hustles. So this is completely tone deaf. But
Get up and fucking work.
But the only way that this is ever going to, or the power dynamic is going to shift, is if my idea for one of the greatest episodes of Black Mirror actually comes to fruition. And my idea for that episode of Black Mirror is,
okay.
what would happen if everybody who follows the Kardashians just unfollowed them for a week?
Yes.
Just unfollowed them for a week. That's my idea for what would be
pretend they don't
the
exist.
greatest Black Mirror episode ever.
Yeah, it would be like an ongoing refugee and cost of living crisis. We can just pretend they don't exist.
It'd be interesting also to see what they would try and do to capture people's attention.
And that will be the end of them.
Wow.
Because they will stop at nothing.
Oh, didn't they? Who bought the part 2 of the Ray J sex tape?
Kanye.
Oh, so they just buy it off him and leak it.
True.
Yeah,
And then they go cycle again. Yeah, I feel you.
yeah.
Anyway, you guys saw the Batman film, right? I haven't seen it yet. What's his
Trash.
name?
Absolutely.
Trash.
Why is it trash?
Garbage.
Why? It's long, I heard.
It's 3 hours long, bro.
Obnoxiously.
Yeah, it's arrogantly long.
Absurdly.
Thank you.
Away.
I'm
That
so
could have
happy you
been.
said that.
Also, can we not make new films?
But 3 hours of Zoe Kravitz.
She's
Nah,
actually
see,
not in it for
I've
3
never
hours.
got the hype. See, Zoe Kravitz, Zendaya, all like
that's haram.
the cute beige girls. I don't get it.
It's a bad take.
So,
Bad take.
Grace,
Bad take.
first of all, shitting on your people like that.
I know I am a beige. I'm
thought-
part of the beige
I
brigade.
thought you were above that.
No, but there's this like, you know, like this idolization of like the ethereal beige girl. You know what I mean?
just-
Like she could be a fairy, but she's a person.
One of my favorite artists of all time is Lenny Kravitz.
Yes.
So
Jewish king.
I was outside when he was making songs about this daughter of his.
Mm-hmm.
So not in a creepy way, but I've seen her coming, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that sounds dodgy, doesn't it?
Boss.
See her blossom. I'm joking. Basically, she's been paying for time.
I've watched it become legal to fancy her.
I'm glad you said it. That was Johnny. So everything that's happened
visibly
thereafter,
rattled.
I'm not. No, I'm good. I'm composed. Everything that's happened thereafter, in terms of her increased beauty, is actually to be expected. She was seen with Channing Tatum though, which is a bit upsetting.
He's a very odd-looking
He
bloke,
just looks
isn't
like
he?
a young Ian Dowie. He looks like a thumb, like a
that
proper
is
thumb.
I was about to say he looks like a potato.
Yeah, proper. But it did make me wonder what did Patterson? How's he getting on as Batman? Is he?
He's just playing the same fucking youth from Twilight, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Jarring.
Sort of looks at the camera with an angle. He is funny though because he had apparently had like an after party after the premiere
Okay.
at Pete. What's his name? Pete David. What's his name?
Pete Davidson.
White
Pete
King.
Davidson's bar
club
and
or
just
something,
played
yeah.
Donda the entire
Swear
just
down.
played Kanye
He's
the
down to
entire night.
ride.
So that's gang shit.
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
ride.
yeah.
That's gang
See,
shit.
So he was not very good.
No, it's trash.
Who's
It
your
feel-
favorite Batman?
Oh, it's Christian Bell.
Christian Bell.
Has to be Christian
100%.
Bell.
But
Not Michael Keaton.
No,
Nah, sorry,
hold that.
B.
Hold that. You
sure?
Let yourself land in it, but it's a trash take, and
That
you own it yourself.
the Christian Bale segment of the Batman remake.
The trilogy. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Bad
Cillian
boy
Murphy's
shit.
in there as well.
Yeah.
Shout
Scarecrow.
out.
Come
Shout
on.
out. Shout out.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like I'm calling for a ban on future Batman productions till we figure out what's going on, because it just doesn't need to happen anymore.
Stop making the same
But
story.
they perfected it, right? Like, how are you going to do better than the Joker? How are you going to do better than
Fam.
Heath
Yeah,
Ledger's
see, that's,
Joker?
Yeah.
And we
yeah.
already tried to redo Batman with J-Lo's ex. What's his name? Ben Affleck.
Affleck, yeah,
Man
that
like.
was
Yeah.
He was Batman.
Yeah, trash. Zack
Yeah.
Snyder. Trash.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, leave it.
Yeah.
No, also trash.
The best thing he's done is give us that meme.
Yes. The
That's
smoking
the best
one.
thing he's done.
Yeah,
I felt that one this year.
I have a spiritual connection to that meme. Yeah.
100%.
As we said earlier, the whole year's October and Tuesday.
Literally.
It's bleak. No, this film's trash. Stop making more Batman films. Zoe Kravitz is objectively laying. That's an awful take.
Who?
Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, you took mad fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear
keep
the
up.
name. I'll try.
She's objectively laying. It's a bad take. But the film, they also wasted a whole hour. You know the whole flying rat thing?
Yeah.
Right? Fam, penguins don't fly.
Spoiler alert.
Shut up. Grow up and see the film in it. Penguins don't fly, bruv. They could have cut a good hour out of a 3-hour film on this. It was mad. I do feel sorry for Paul Dano because he was fucking sick.
Yeah.
The Riddler was actually a sick actor.
That was a good performance.
His bit in the jail cell and whatever, that was very, very well done. Robert Pattinson should just either make Twilight or do Comic Con.
Which one
or
had
fuck
Bane?
off.
Which one had Bane?
He should just do
that was
indie
Christian
music.
That was Christian Bale.
That was Christian Bale. That was
Yeah.
the Nolan trilogy. Yeah.
I feel you. About to get serious.
Oh.
Yeah.
As a man. No, as men. As men.
Okay.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Sorry, Grace. You might not like this. We have had to sit through a lifetime of some incredibly sad, high-profile divorces, many of which have resulted in our fellow male having to pay hand over foot
Yes.
Oh, boohoo.
Too
in
much.
divorce settlements
Yes.
Oh, what a shame.
and alimony.
Yeah, all of it.
Spousal and child, all that shit, right? I'm thinking more recently, Jeff Bezos,
The president of White Boy Summer.
38 billion. 38 billion.
The great egg.
Tiger Woods, he had to give Ellen
Yeah,
710
but he's
million.
an idiot
I mean,
still.
was what he did that bad?
Listen, we've all done too many sedatives and crashed the car. I feel like that judgment was racist.
Actually, Roman Abramovich, he had to pay out quite
No,
big time as well.
said the worst one I've ever heard of is the one that Cesc Fabregas robbed off the other Russian.
Might need to let me just finish my
Haram.
intro. He doesn't let me finish my intros, this lad.
Good one,
He had to
thank you,
pay
man.
out 300 million to his wife, Roman Abramovich.
Is that all?
Yeah,
Only 300 million?
only. You see what he's done to his ops, right? Anyway,
He done very well at that. 300
Ray
million.
Parler.
Did he get fleeced?
The landmark. Oh man, maybe you're too young to remember this.
The
bro.
Ron for Pele.
So, landmark case in 2004, where his wife not only got paid out a lump sum, which was about 250k at the time,
Okay.
but she won both homes, which were a total of £1 million.
Ooh.
But was also able to secure a third of his future earnings after the divorce,
Excellent.
after a marriage that lasted a total of 3.5 years.
Excellent.
Ooh, well done her.
Excellent.
I mean, they were
Frankly,
together.
Amen. Yeah, she's-
They were together for longer, but
I just think if this is M&A's, isn't it?
yeah, but why? Yeah, exactly. But why let her? Why
This
let
is
the truth?
literally it. The marriage is the merger, then they get the acquisition.
Welcome to markets, baby.
Literally.
But on the flip side, we've had some good divorces where the male has secured the bag.
Amen.
Happy International Women's Month.
Yes.
Guy Ritchie.
It's not a month, is it?
It is a month.
It's not a month.
Anyway, Guy Ritchie securing the bag from Madge.
Amen.
A cool 90 million.
Ish.
It's just hatred against women.
K-Fed. Kevin Federline.
King.
No,
Federline.
No, allow it. No, you cannot.
He got a couple million for about 9 months' work.
That's
You
what-
can't co-sign that one.
That's actually what the K stands for in K-Fed is king. Is king shit.
Adele's husband.
Yes.
Ex-husband.
Yes.
You cannot come for Adele.
Simon Konecki
Yeah.
Wow.
received a cool 140 M's.
He had to listen.
Baby.
He had to listen to 3 shit albums.
And I think
but
that
he got
I was
paid.
going to say it's a small price to pay for listening to some of that music. Oh, babe, I just recorded this song in the studio today. Give it a listen. What do you think?
Oh, listen, I'm
And
going to
he's
sing
got
a
f-
high
and
C
he's got a
very
lie.
gladly.
Yeah, and he's got a lie about it. Not all of her songs,
I'm
obviously.
biding my time.
Not
Come
all
on.
of her songs, I have to say.
I'm biding my
Let
time.
me absorb.
Just
I'm
the
coming for your headlines.
Just the majority of her songs. And now we have a brand new story. A wonderful, beautiful, beautiful story.
Let's go.
Recognizing the pain, the suffering,
Wow.
the love, and the effort that goes into a marriage from a man's perspective.
It's hard work.
Lol.
It's hard
Let's
work.
clap it up for Brandon Blackstone, the
Boo.
ex-husband
Boo.
of Kelly Clarkson. And I'll
Yes.
tell you why, Grace Kelly. He is going to receive a one-off payment
Hey.
of 1.3 million. Now, doesn't sound like a lot. Doesn't sound like a lot.
Especially when he's a
But-
millionaire himself. What?
But also, he is going to receive, because they have 2 kids, 5 and 7 years old, $45,000 a month in child support.
And they don't live with him.
Joint custody.
But they don't live with him.
But it gets better.
Oh, it does.
Best of all. Best of all. He gets 115K a month.
Very good.
Spousal support.
Only
Amen.
until 2024.
Baby.
Mashallah.
So he can basically Simon Leviev this situation
This
and
is
take
haram.
money from one lady to spend it on the rest of his hoes.
Let's go. It's the Ponzovsky scheme, baby.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of like finer details about the divorce. Like she gets the family pets, the multiple cars. They get she got
The
all
guns.
the Ford F20. He gets like he gets the farm, cattle, livestock, the stock dogs, the horses. He gets a Ford F350. He gets a couple of Patek Philippe watches.
And the kids have
That's
to be
some
vac-
serious shit. A pickup truck and some watches. I'd be happy with that.
I got
And the
nothing
kids
on
have to be
this.
vaccinated.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they have to
Yeah.
get vaccinated. I know what. Yeah.
Give a shit.
I got nothing to say on this except for City Boys. We up.
We're up. And it's about time.
Summer is coming.
It's about time.
He
Let
is
me give
on
you-
he is on the yacht.
Yes.
Let me
he's
give
on the
you
boat.
young kings a little history lesson.
Enter the chat.
Okay, enter the chats. I am firmly arrived. So, what I find astounding about this conversation, my dear young men, okay, is that in this contract of marriage, number one, all the men who get fleeced by the women they marry, you are in absolute idiots. If you do not have a pre-nuptial agreement.
Oh.
Why? Because marriage is a contract. It always has been. In the UK, up until the early 20th century, it was required that men were paid dowries. And when women married men, anything they owned came under their ownership.
This used to be a proper country. This used to be a proper
And
country.
whatever they inherited became the man's ownership.
Correct.
So this idea that women are gold diggers, bear in mind that in the past 120 years, we haven't really had much option as to bringing in our own income.
we go, the fucking patriarchy.
There you go.
Nice.
Yes, I am bringing
Woke
it in.
society.
I am bringing it in. Okay, I'm bringing it in. It's very relevant in this conversation. Very. Okay.
patriarchy strikes again.
What you have highlighted is the majority of the
joking.
guys who've got bare pee had pee themselves already. Guy
I don't actually know
Ritchie.
Brandon's history, by the way.
No, he's got bare pee. He was a manager for time. He groomed her. This was like a, Mariah Carey, Sparkle situation. Yeah, I'm bringing it.
Renee Celine Dion, that thing. What's his name, Renee?
I don't know.
Renee, yeah, she loved. No, that was real love doing it. She's
mean,
been
she
singing
was
the same
four-
songs
she
for
was
20 years.
She was 14.
Oh.
He did a Bridget Macron. But anyway, we move.
Yeah, he didn't R. Kelly in it.
But anyway,
God,
you were about to
these
tell us that
people
we're
rob us of
trash.
so much music.
They really do.
Anyway, no, real talk though. What I found interesting is just like what's been divvied up: guns, sheep.
I love that he's got the Ford F350.
It's
That's like
She got the
that is the
250.
red,
He
that
got
is the
the 350.
redneck's pickup truck of choice.
I didn't realize she was such a redneck. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
what surprised me.
I'm surprised
not from
she's
Texas?
that
Like-
rich.
yeah.
No, come on.
No, RT, like she had that one song, Since You've Been Gone.
No,
and then
sorry.
she
That was a bad
disappeared.
No, she's the American Idol winner that filled the Britney Spears vacuum. She was literally the leading
do
white
you
woman
say
of
all-
America
you say
for
all
a
of that.
good few years.
You say
That is
all of
a
that.
hefty bag.
Can you name at least 2 songs.
That's not the point.
Yeah, but you see now the internal American music market is something else.
It's
though.
different.
You can make bare P.
Especially if
Oh,
she's
just
like a
in
big
America.
country.
There are multi-million streaming
Yeah.
artists that we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Unless you're like super active in that
And let's
culture.
not forget, East Asia loves strange.
Yeah,
artists,
100%.
Jessie
you know?
J is like the queen of China. It's mad
Isn't
chat.
that? I saw her at Troy Bar in Hoxton.
Can you imagine?
a few years ago.
Yeah. Was she singing with her hands?
She was. I just the jaw and the vibrato is a lot to
Too
follow.
much,
Isn't
it's
it?
too much.
It's a
But
lot-
she's a
it's lot
Tottenham
going.
fan,
It's like,
so
it's
she
like an
can-
abacus.
Too much. Yeah, it's too much. Yeah, it's too
Just
much.
going everywhere.
Look,
a lot going on.
rich people, just don't get married, mate. Honestly, just sack it off.
Just
really.
prenup it.
Just prenup
Yeah.
it.
Just prenup it.
Nah. I mean, I think in most, especially in the UK, right, those things don't even really hold much in court, do they, prenups? I think in America it's more ironclad, but here it's not really even a thing.
It is interesting though. Like it's harder to get out of a mortgage than it is to get out of a marriage, right? But at the same time, it's just things like as soon as if you own your home but your partner moves in, you're not married, they have claim to your home and stuff, right? So like I'm not being anti-love. I'm very in love myself, but
Yeah.
I think it's just.
Shout
I find
out
it
PJ.
astounding. Shout out PJ, babes. What babes? You listening, babes?
Come on.
But I do find it astounding when you have an empire
Yeah.
and you're just out here risking it. I don't know, maybe this is just my hood upbringing.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like you're risking the bag.
Protect the bag
Protect at all costs.
at all costs.
All the time.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Shout out Brandon. Shout out Kevin.
Yeah.
Shout out Guy.
Yeah.
And any man who
Dumbass
has
name.
secured the bag. Simon Kinnicky, my G, you made it.
It's tough. It's tough. Like I am the child of a man who went through 4 divorces.
Oi.
And it's
That's
hard.
expensive.
It's hard. It doesn't.
You turned out
that ends
well
terrible.
rounded, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I was
Yeah,
only, I was
well
only the
considered.
first, so like
Unaffected.
It's blessed. It's haram. It's haram.
Grim story of the week, which is
Oh,
just
no.
I know how this debate is going to go.
Where
It's
you
not
bringing
it's
us?
not much of a debate. Chris Brown got accused of rape, a rape that was supposed to have taken place in 2020. He then turned up this week and apparently he's got all of the receipts which prove the opposite. Which throws up the obvious question. When are we going to start looking at motherfuckers who do this to people?
What's that youth from the football team?
Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood. It sort of brought that back in mind of she had concrete proof because she had that awful recording, which I wish I hadn't listened to.
Yeah.
And it just makes you question it with knowing what we know about Chris Brown.
Yeah, I mean, I am never fully invested in a story such as this until all of the facts have come out. I don't like the emotional roller coaster of all of the plot twists and so on and so forth. Give me the case. Give me the Jussie Smollett sentencing. Give me that day. Give me that point. By the way, he got locked up for 5 months and still says that he's innocent. That's
That
crazy.
was-
Did you
That's
see
fucking
his
crazy.
thing?
Yeah.
We need to
He was
unpack
like, if
that.
I get hurt inside, it wasn't me.
I am not suicidal.
I have to say,
I'm not suicidal.
he's maybe the
maddest,
modest bloke.
maddest person from Grace's community ever.
the most
You know what I
sourceless,
mean?
the most sourceless light skin I've ever seen in my life.
Can I just say, someone Cedric the Entertainer made that joke once about he's like, we've got to let mixed race people be doing what they're doing. 'Cause when they do mad shit, we're just like, we're not, and it upsets me. You had Tandiwe Newton, Tandy
Yes,
Newton. Man, I'm sorry, like,
mummy
she's-
looks like you.
Yeah.
my mama.
But yeah, in
Grow
case you
up,
don't know
bro.
what we're talking about, as I said, Chris Brown had an accusation of rape, which is a current trend within
man
R&B artists
Sticky
in America.
ones,
Trey
yes.
Songz has similar cases being brought to him. But what happened was a series of text and voice notes that the lady sent to Chris along the lines of, that was the best dick I've ever had. Their agreement to get a morning after pill, because clearly he didn't pull out, amateur. And
Deserves it.
and
That's
a whole
why,
bunch.
that's why you have the spicy condom ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And
Listen
a whole
to Drake.
Exactly, and a whole bunch of other text messages which led us, and I guess obviously her prosecution or her defense team, to withdraw their support from her. I mean, it's not much of a debate, but we've got to start locking up these wrongful rape accusers, right? Because no matter what happens after this, Chris Brown is always going to be known as the rapist, right? The minute you come out with an accusation as strong as that, there's no reversing that, really.
Yeah, look,
Meanwhile, she is gonna fall into the Twitter sphere. No one's gonna know who the F she is. Her legal team have said nope, we want no parts, and she's gonna be able to crack on with her life.
Babe, what are you talking about? Chris Brown.
I mean, he's clearly got other problems.
Fine.
But, I mean, Chris. Even if it wasn't, Chris Brown has obviously got a checkered past, right? So there's a whole bunch of other things that Chris Brown has done and will do, which are going to checker him more
Absolutely
than this,
fine.
maybe. But it's less about Chris Brown. It's more about false rape accusations.
I would say I think the problem with this is that whenever this happens, it's always a high profile case because the majority, like literally, the percentile of rape cases that turn out not to be true, as in like clearly proven lie, is like between 1% and 3%, literally, right? So, but what it does when you have a high profile case like this, it continues this narrative of 50-50. Like the likelihood is that it's 50-50. He's either telling the truth or she's lying. It's down the middle. When we know statistically that's not true, right? And I agree that there should be for her some sort of reprimand. It's tricky though, because it's not like this tricky because it's a sticky one. Because Chris Brown is not, it's not like he's had enough just desserts for the shit that he's done.
Well, this is what I said earlier in the week. I was like, this is kind of like Hitler
Oh, what?
getting a free pass because he didn't throw any Latinos in the gas
Welcome
chamber.
to the podcast. Johnny reaches quite a lot. He makes pretty crazy links, Grace.
Yeah, wow, that's
He didn't gas any Latinos, and so like half of my family should thank him. And this is where Chris Brown is. Like, he still smacked the shit out of Rihanna.
But
this
he
guy's not a hero.
Didn't he
just because he didn't rape this one.
But he got
yeah, okay.
He's
Oh,
just...
okay.
Didn't he... I mean, I can't even remember what the aftermath or what the result of the Rihanna thing was, but didn't he have to serve some kind of time? Didn't he get a punishment?
He got a bit of community service.
Community service, thank you.
That was it.
Okay.
The thing is like I'm not one for the criminal justice system in the sense of like let's put people in a small room and make them think about things. I think that people need reformation in whatever way.
Amen.
Do I think that somebody? I've got to be careful here, but like, do I think that people are past the point of change? No. Do I think he's made a concerted effort to change? Absolutely not. I don't think he has, because it's also just the fact that the amount of women that still support him, the amount of women that still love him and whatever, like he's not had any, it's not about cancel culture. Like I don't believe that actually exists, but like, it's more so just what has he done to show that he maybe has addressed.
But
his
what
anger
about
issues.
just like, I mean, I know exactly what you're referring to, right? There was a period shortly after the Rihanna thing where he was running wild, and then he was a bit quiet, and then he came back, and then there was that weird obsessive behavior over Carucci, who he was going out with. I get your point, but good is an answer to your question. Maybe it's just like good behavior over a period of time is a way of showing that he is potentially over some of the things that he did when he was very, very young and stupid. Because, yeah, he was, 20, 21? When that Rihanna thing happened, and that's not to excuse it.
No.
But we're talking about somebody who's in their 30s now. Somebody who hasn't really been in trouble recently, if we're being honest. What can someone like Chris Brown do to prove that he is a changed person so that when false rape accusations come his way, people don't respond, well, you kind of deserve it because of what you did in the past. You feel me? It's a bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for false accusers getting a similar sentence to what the guilty would have got had they been found guilty of it. And I think actually, like, genuine victims of rape would probably support that as well, because there's cases like this that discredit
100%.
the stories of women who really suffer. There's already horrendously low conviction rate in rape cases, and it's because of shit like this that goes on all the time. And the legal justice system is already skewed against victims of this kind of crime, and this kind of shit doesn't help. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't really know too much about the girl or the background, whatever, but
bro, it was just I think it was just they met on a yacht. I think it was P Diddy, one of P Diddy's parties, or close to P Diddy's house or some shit.
Yeah. Well,
and she was reaching him. She was reaching out to him a great deal after they initially slept together, and he just basically stopped replying to her, which is actually leads me on to Little Duval. The comedian Lil Duval.
Yeah.
He came out and was saying a lot of what we're saying. Women who do this stuff should be sentenced, and they should have the same level of criticism. But what I found really hilarious was when he said, "And fellas, for the record, when you fuck these girls, do your due diligence. You can't just ghost these hoes right after you fuck.
Ooh.
You got to send at least 2 texts afterwards, then ghost her.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. I support that message. I support that message.
But to what end?
Oh, no, you've got to pretend that you care about...
Does that mitigate rape
I think
allegations?
what he's trying to say is like, just be a gentleman. Maybe these cases might not come your way.
Yeah, you've got to pretend that you care
which
what
is
they have
wild,
breakfast,
but
and
there's
then
something
what they
in
did the
there.
rest of the
I
day,
mean,
and then just
I think that I don't think that this woman would have tried that with anyone but Chris Brown because of his sullied past, right? You know, there's an
that's
element. Do
true.
you know what I'm saying?
She was chasing the bag.
I mean,
She ain't gonna do this with John Legend.
Did she
Yes.
did she see a financial opportunity? Probably. Yeah. Like I'm not putting that past
You can
her.
see the text though, or you can,
Yeah.
I didn't see the text exchange, but the texts that were released, you can see her just getting, she goes from being
Yeah.
super cool about being ignored to getting ignored more and more
Yeah.
and more and getting progressively angrier and angrier. So I think that's what Duval's saying. Like, you just got to be a bit of a gent about it. And like, I mean, men should always be gentlemen.
Just
right?
be upfront.
So,
I mean, it's such a tough one. Again,
Yeah.
this is like coming from like, this is like old teacher hat on and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the conversations that we used to have with kids around consent, because you had to, as part of the job. And the very alarming things that kids would say about
Whoa.
what they thought consent was. Like, just, you know, it'd be sort of like a question like, okay, if you're with a boy and you're having fun and whatever, and you go home together and you are going to have sex, but you change your mind, do you have a right to change your mind? And it was like 70% of the girls would say no, because you brought them home, right? And it's just this idea around expectation and whatever. And it's just like, we need to have more nuanced conversations around what consent is. And then something like this comes up and then it just brings back the old conversation. It's like, we're not actually getting anywhere.
There's no
babes.
progress here.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's a be long, you know? What's he, you know?
100%. Well, yeah, good luck to all involved.
Yeah.
And I wish them all the best. Chris Brown, please don't release any more albums that have 50 songs on them.
Please.
Still haven't listened to the last one.
No.
And now we
seen
have
that
relationship advice.
Yes, we do. It's quite a long one.
Uh-oh.
It's quite a long one. It's worth it. This is the first time that we've ever gone outside the DMs.
Okay.
Oh.
And I've actually sourced this one
Was it that good?
from online.
Okay.
Wow.
It is long, so
God.
prepare for it.
Okay.
But get ready.
Okay.
I have known / been dating my wife for 6 years.
I have known / been dating my wife.
Dating my wife.
for
Anyway,
6
so proceed.
So we
That's
can
a great
we
start.
can do guess the race from the first comma. And we have been spiritually married for 2 years. Guess the race is now cemented. We're not legally married, although at this point we are essentially common law. We're both high earners, brackets, both earning over 175k a year after tax. Full stop. We purchased our home together and we have agreed to split the finances 50-50. We paid for our wedding, honeymoon, everything 50-50. Although I did pay for the cost of our rings and her engagement ring. Our mortgage payments were 50-50 and we comfortably own our home now. So much of our income goes to savings, investments, home improvements and discretionary spending. Because of our incomes, we felt it would be best to keep our finances separate. We're both highly independent people and both very career driven. It's part of the reason I'm so attracted to her. She's amazing at what she does. I'm so proud to be able to introduce her as my wife and explain what she does.
Spiritual wife.
Unfortunately, our first 2 years of marriage were hampered by COVID and lockdowns.
Hampered by COVID.
We would have loved to have travelled and saved up quite. We would love to have travelled and saved up quite a bit in order to do this. A couple months ago, we had a talk and decided it might be a good time to have kids instead of continuously waiting for better or safer travel conditions. Without too serious discussion about it, we decided to stop using birth control and let things happen as they will. Yesterday, I came home and my wife was on the phone.
Spiritually.
She seemed like she was in a hurry to end her conversation and tried to evade my question when I asked who she was talking to.
Uh-oh.
It was her sister.
Okay.
They don't talk a lot, so that was a bit weird. She still works from home, so she continued to do some work. Then we had dinner and watched some news. Regular, pleasant evening. Then she says she wants to have a serious talk and asks me to make her some tea and meet her upstairs at her work desk. I make the tea,
Kinky.
bring it up, and she starts talking financials.
Oh.
Her workplace allows for maternity leave for up to a year. but only provides 50% of her salary for up to 6 months. The remaining 6 months is unpaid. She was very direct and said that while her insurance would cover the vast majority of hospital-related costs during her pregnancy and childbirth,
I think I see where this is going.
taking a 6-month break from work would cost her almost $50,000, since her pay would be cut in half. She's asking me to compensate her for that $50,000.
Hey.
In addition to agreeing to split any related but unexpected costs to pregnancy and childbirth.
Yeppa.
Her stance is that if she is doing something for us to start a family, but it is not a true 50-50 split, if she is expected to take a financial hit for it and I am not, given that our finances are separate, she has prepared a list of expectations in terms of what she expected financially and listed some things that her insurance may not cover. I see the logic in that, but I'm really turned off by this because she's essentially asking me to pay to have our child. She saw my hesitation and just doubled down. While her ideal is to return to work after 6 months, she said it's a real possibility that she may require more time off and decide as things happen.
Yeah, don't return to work after 6 months.
To take up to a year off.
Take a year.
So she had another plan drafted for that.
Another.
Jesus.
For the first
People
6
should not be
months, her work will give her 50% of her salary, and I would compensate her for the rest. But for the next 6 months, since her work would not compensate her, and because this loss is something she is doing for the family, she is, quote, comfortable splitting the loss of her income, and only asking me to pay 50% of her salary instead of 100% for the 2 month period. And she will take the loss of 50% of her salary.
Spooky.
The idea, I guess, is that both of us, quote, suffer
Fucking War and Pieces.
half the loss of income for the 2 month period.
Wrong, isn't it?
Really
However,
is.
if she takes 7 to 11 months off, any months after the 6 can be prorated.
Can you imagine what their chat is like?
Oh my God.
This is a message.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip forward to the TLDR.
Please.
My wife and I both earn over 175k a year, and we're considering having children. She's asking me to compensate her for 6 to 12 months as compensation for the time she will have to take off to have our child. I do not know whether or not she is pregnant.
Huh?
What do I do?
Well, first things first, brother. She can pee on a little stick that will tell her if she's pregnant.
Right.
Number
right?
one.
You
So
made me skip that part of the
Let's start
story.
number one.
So it's TLDR and we go.
that's easy. That's solved. And if she is pregnant,
Let's presume that she is, because it's only a conversation if she's pregnant.
is this your wife or not, brother? I don't even. Is this what men have become, RT?
Spiritually.
Is this what men have become? Real talk.
This is a very particular
This
kind
woman
of
is about to
people.
have your fucking kid.
A very particular kind of people.
I am questioning whether or not you need to prop her up financially while she's out of work, looking after your kid while you're at work, having a fucking few drinks on a Thursday because you don't want to go home to a crying baby. Is this what men have become?
I'm just thinking this baby just sits there in soiled nappies like for hours because they can't decide whose turn it is to buy the nappies. That is your turn, Gertrude.
It's actually not my month on the Huggies. This is December's yours.
Yeah, it's not monthly Huggies, by the way.
There are so many problems. These people should not be procreating
Begin to unpack.
at all.
Committee. Come
You
to
know?
session.
My friend,
Wow,
it is your responsibility
100%.
to hold the family down as the sole income. I'm absolutely astonished that this person would even put this out for a collective opinion.
On Big Reddit.
Jesus.
It's mad because also it's just like your partner, you're a team. Do you know what I mean? Like when my boyfriend and I, when we moved to Bangkok, I went there. I had a teaching contract. He didn't have a job yet, so there was no question in my mind. There was no like you owe me this and that. But like you're a partnership.
But this
And
is
you
the-
want to have a family together, and you're like, let's get a spreadsheet out.
Yeah, it's mad.
But
this is
she's
the-
insecure. I mean, also, yeah. Sorry, I don't know.
But this is the point where they've their entire relationship to date has been based on keeping everything explicitly separate.
And that's what I was going to move on to next. That's a problem.
Do you think?
In
Yeah,
some respects.
100%.
They need to have something which is joint. I'm not saying... There are some couples, by the way, who have an account and then both of their salaries go into that account. Or a man will put his salary into one account that the wife has access to and all that stuff. And that's uncomfortable for some, uncomfortable for many. But
I need
that's
to buy
how
my
some
Air Force
people.
Ones in secret.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, to Grace's point, sometimes I just want to cop a few things and
Yeah, you
not
need some
have
change.
to. Not have to justify my spending. Okay. Why did you buy that? Because I wanted it. Because
they
I
look
work
good.
hard. Shut up.
And my personal
You know what I mean? So
purchases.
I think that's a problem. You've touched upon a good point there, Johnny. I think the fact that they are so separate is the initial problem. They need to have something that is a joint account together. Something that, he direct debits a certain amount into every month, doesn't think about it, doesn't have to think about it. It
Yeah.
just goes in there. She can spend it. She can do her own thing. But the reality is the last thing you want your newborn baby and the mother of that baby to have to worry about is like whether or not while you're at work they can go off and buy a baguette at the local Nisa. Like, what the fuck? Like,
And it's not like these men are on like 50k a piece.
You know
They're
what I
on like
mean? Like,
nearly 200.
$175K.
Do you know what I'm
175K.
saying? It's not small change. It's also, there's something else. There's an underlying problem here as well.
Please.
They both sound very, very stingy. That's a problem. That's a
it does
very
seem,
big problem.
yeah, it does seem very robotic in that relationship. She was like, "Come upstairs, daddy. Let's do some.
I have spreadsheets ready.
Let's do some working from home."
Yes.
Cassie.
And then he went up there, and the Excel was popping, including macros.
VLOOKUP.
You know what I mean?
So basically, the bit that you made me cut off was that her sister has been involved in the conversations.
Uh-oh.
And basically, it's sister who's been gassing her to this position of
And so she should.
make him pay you to have his child. That's Wagwan.
But again, even that, it's just like I don't know. It just sounds like these people have a really funny relationship with money in the first place, innit? Because at the end of the day, you're just like, it's not about make him pay you. It's I'm gonna be getting a cut, and it's unfair that that's happening anyway, or whatever. Like, we will just need to sort out our finances so that everybody, that's the thing, is like nothing about what they're doing is like, we have goals that we want to accomplish together.
100%.
We just want to renovate the house that we live in, and we're going to split the cost. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're roommates, bro. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
100%.
It sounds like they're housemates who said, let's have a baby. I'm going to be incapacitated for 6 months. So you got to, fork out that's what it sounds like. It's not a partnership.
And it is just 6 months, right? Because company are going to take care of the first 6 months. So max he's going to be paying for is 6 months.
6 months
That's
extra.
that's
Yeah.
nothing, right? If they're living in a super plush place rather, where both of those big incomes are pretty instrumental to their upkeep and their lifestyle, then fine. That conversation is a tricky one, because that becomes a bigger conversation of, do we need to move? Do
It's
we
a
need to
standard living type
downsize?
conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kind of stuff. I get that. And to the point about the sister weighing in, yeah, no guy wants to be called into a room and told you have to pay for me.
Yeah.
So it's in the language, it's in the delivery,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Say I need, or I expect, as opposed to I demand, or
Yes.
I want.
It's a sales job.
It's exactly, right?
sales job.
So
People
she
just
has
don't
a
know.
responsibility with her sister as well to make sure that the delivery of that message is better.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, that's minor, given that he has a fundamental responsibility to make sure that wifey and kid want for nothing until she's able to go back to work. Like, if this is even a discussion, if this is one of them 2022 things where men are still like, should I pay on the first date or whatever? And I know I sound like I'm pandering, but like, should I pay on the first date, or should she? Or she wanted me to come out, so maybe she... That kind of shit, for me, is played out. Like, we need to get back to some more traditional values.
Woo me.
That's my take.
I would like to be wooed.
Woo her.
I feel like you can kind of apply the first date and the pregnancy logic to both scenarios here. Whereas, like, if you go out on a first date with someone, you really like them, you pay
Even if you don't, Johnny.
because you want to impress, right? No, I mean, if you go on a first date
I
and
like
it's a
your
fucking
school of thought,
disaster,
Richard.
you might 50-50 it, right? Oh, I will.
Nah, bitch.
Shameless.
Be
Not all. Sorry, not all Jewish men are Vladimir Zelensky. Some of us are tight in it.
Lol.
But no, you will do. Like, you'll cover it if you like. If you really like someone that you're seeing,
the
you try to
dating
impress.
game, the dating game is not always full of dubs, bro. You have L's, and sometimes L's
Take an
is
L.
asking a girl
Yeah.
to go on a date, it being shit, and you having to pay. You're not gonna go to the fucking front desk of the Odeon after the Batman shit and say, "Can I have my money back?" So why would you do that on a date?
I would ask her to pay for the confectionery as a hedge.
I like that.
No, but it comes down to, like, if this is the woman of your life,
Yeah.
and you want to have children, multiple
mother your
children with
children.
her,
mad.
you're covering it.
It's
Like
mad.
you are
Incubate
covering
your
it.
offspring.
Yeah, and this is where we get a little bit primal. It gets a little bit Pete the Feet, but as a man, stand up and do the thing.
Shout
innit?
out, Pete.
No, but absolutely stand up and do the thing, because also like once you have a child as a woman, how
Oh,
that changes.
that's at least a 20-year sentence.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
Absolutely. I think, but also quite interestingly, I think like these sound like people who are very covetous about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about. It's not that they don't have enough to share. It's that they have this kind
Oh,
of
they're
like
financial sociopaths.
yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
you to have more than me.
Yeah, of course.
I learned
I
this-
can't know. I can't lose more than you lose.
Yes,
That's what it is.
yes. So that and you want to have children, the people that are going to bleed you dry for the rest of your life.
Hey.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a stressful one day.
So what's the
So-
take?
Buddy,
What's the conversation?
in the fine words of a great young philosopher from Tottenham and apparently Nigeria.
Just cheats.
I was going to say, no, not cheat. Grow up.
Yes. Grow up.
Get a therapist.
That,
You can afford it.
yeah, sounds like
Well,
marriage.
170 bag a year, you can both afford therapists.
Yeah. Grow up. That's your wife.
Multiple.
That's
Amen.
your new child. They are yours to protect and honor.
Tutus or they're not. And fucking bounce.
Yeah.
And find someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah? Get divorced.
If you want to live an
and find
independent
someone else.
life.
I'd like to ask this person, like, why do you want a child?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
the ultimate game of generosity is a child. Like when I listen to parents, when I see parents listen to their kids just chat shit,
Yeah.
It's jarring, isn't it?
kids have shit chat for a very long time.
For years.
Trust
For
me, I know.
years.
And by the time they're even reasonable, you're old, so you can't even enjoy it like that.
Babbling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of the licks I received as a youngster, I kind of get now.
You-
I'll be honest. Can I be vulnerable? we still haven't seen the Queen, have we?
Not yet.
Still haven't seen her. She's,
Oh, no, there
she's
was
not-
a picture. She met Justin Trudeau, and her neck is at 45 degrees to her shoulders.
Yeah.
So she's alive, but the whole lizard conspiracy thing,
What's
Yeah.
that?
I'm starting to buy it.
What's that?
Oh, well, the royal family are not humans.
They're lizards.
They're a lizard race that were put on this planet to rule us.
She's had a good innings. Do you know what I mean? She's had a spicy life.
She's
too.
not far
Do you know
off
what I mean?
writing a letter to herself.
Do you know what I mean? Her
That's
face is
solid.
on money. Like she's done
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
She'll be there
yeah.
forever.
No,
She's
I
in the
mean,
pockets
She'll
beyond
be with us.
her. But we need the 4-day weekend. Please last
Yeah,
until June.
but as a celebration and less funeral.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I think that's it. We got anything else to address?
Any other business?
Talk about any other business? Anything?
It's been a pleasure, lads.
Yeah, this has been amazing. Shout out Grace Kelly.
Is it your podcast debut?
Have you ever been on a podcast before?
No, it's my first time.
Are you kidding me?
Man.
Fucking
my
Natural
cherry.
to the game.
natural.
Natural.
Oh,
the game.
stop it. Stop it. I'm
100%.
just going to try
100%.
shit in it.
Officially friend of the show. We will have you back
Amen.
in no time.
Many thanks. Many thanks.
Off you go to your shubs.
Yes.
In Pecknell.
Good luck.
Shubs in-
Good luck surviving South
Shout
London.
out my Southeast Londoners.
Bruv,
I know I talk about Bo a lot on this podcast, but you man know where my heart is.
Trash.
Camberwell, baby. I was actually conceived.
SE5.
My parents actually got busy in Peckham. That's where I was conceived.
It shows.
I grew up SE5, opposite Camberwell College of Arts.
Boom. So Ben Hill Road, Houseman Way, just around the
Crofton
corner.
Road. Shout out. South
Dead.
London peeps.
Dead ends. We need to stop getting guests and people generally from South London on this podcast.
Nah.
It is the
becoming
best
a
place
problem.
in the cosmos.
We are
Yeah. You and your Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Ham.
I'm a Hackney nationalist. I've adopted Tottenham, but I am Hackney in my very core.
Hackney National.
You lot in North are just made different, innit?
Don't say Hackney
Just
nationalist.
Hardship.
No, I'm a Hackney nationalist. I'm aggressively pro-racist from Hackney.
Okay. Well, on that
Well then.
note,
On that somber note.
this has been This Could End Terribly, episode 36. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, YouTube.
If you're nasty.
This has been great. Good night.